So, I'd like to welcome you to our CA Technology Day, today with the main subject CANopen FD. My name is Reiner Zitzmann and I will guide you through this Technology Day. With regard to the timetable, I like to introduce to you that I do a small welcome, introducing the agenda, introducing briefly CAN automation if you haven't had too much contact with us yet. Then I will introduce to the main subject, to CANopen FD, tell you some basics, and then I will hand over to my colleague, Mr. Kaploon, and he will show us which kind of CANopen FD extensions are currently under development. Then we will have a short break. In this break, my colleague, Ms. Rubin, is using to inform you a bit about CAN automation marketing possibilities. And after this short break, I hand over to our technical director, Mr. Uwe Koppe from company Microcontrol, and he will provide us some insights to the development of CANopen FD devices. Then, once again, Mr. Kaploon is overtaking, as he is doing a CAN automation, also the CANopen FD conformance testing. He informs us on CANopen FD device testing. And then I hand over to Mr. Philip and Mr. Gedenk from company Emotas. Mr. Philip chairing the interest group CANopen FD that develops the CANopen FD protocol, and he informs us on analyzing CANopen FD networks. So then we will be at the end of the event, and of course you have, as I've already said, after every talk, you have the possibility to place your questions, to ask the speaker. If there's something remaining, we can do this also at the end, and then I will close the event, and I hope you have a lot of valuable information got about CANopen FD. Yeah, so let's briefly start with the introduction about CAN automation. I will keep it short as we are a little bit late in time, so I'd like to introduce myself briefly. I'm Reiner Zitzmann. I hold a degree in electrical engineering from the University Erlangen-Nürnberg. I'm at the moment general manager of CAN Automation GmbH, 100% daughter of the CAN Automation Association that is promoting CAN in various markets, telling people why is it reasonable to use a CAN-based solution in various application fields. So I keep the business here of CAN Automation running, testing, presentations, conferences, and so on. And I take care that CAN automation can provide all the services that the association is intended to provide to its members, that they are provided in the appropriate way. Furthermore, I represent CAN automation also in international standardization. So I do so in specification of CAN-based solutions in rail vehicles. On the other hand, I join a working group that defines a CAN-based network accompanying the charging process for light electric vehicles. And finally, I also attend a working group that thinks about how can devices, subsystems mounted on a truck, on a garbage truck application, how can they exchange information in a harmonized way on a CAN-based network. So also here, I'm an expert in this application field. And of course, I support the corresponding mirror groups on European and German level of these related standardization groups. Yeah, briefly to CAN Automation Association. CAN Automation Association has been founded in 1992, as I've said, with the objective to raise awareness about CAN-based networking, to inform people that there's a very robust, reliable communication technique available from a lot of sources for reasonable prices. And while limiting the usage of CAN to the automotive application field, why not bringing CAN to other application fields? And for this purpose, CAN automation had been founded, and since these days we are doing our work and have since these days established a very large network social network where we know a lot of actors in the application field of CAN. So this is also for you a chance if you come to some challenges in your CAN-based projects, then I like to remind you on why not giving a call to CAN Automation. So you see here our contact details. We are located here in Nuremberg, so you can give us a phone call. If it's appropriate for you, you can also come to our office, discuss your CAN-related issues, and maybe we can help you directly, or at least we can rely on our huge social network and we can direct you to companies that have already experience in solving these kind of challenges, and you can accelerate with your CAN-based project. So you see here our contact addresses, and in addition to that, what you see here, phone, emailing, and so on, we have also the chance, of course, to negotiate some appointments, doing some web-based meetings with you, or you can contact us also via several social media channels there. Then on the last slide, you will have these contacts as well. Briefly to the milestones of CAN Automation, you see here already the founding date, 5th of March 1992. And as I said, we try to raise the awareness of CAN. So we do this with our publications. The famous one, I would say, is our CAN newsletter, a magazine that appears once in a quarter, informing you on latest movements and developments in CAN application field. On the other hand, we go to several fairs, exhibitions, conferences, organize them also by ourselves, and try to inform people about latest movements, developments in CAN-based networking and latest trends, so that you're up to date. Furthermore, CAN Automation serves as a neutral base where companies can meet without any issues with regard to antitrust regulations and can make their discussions, can at the end create some CAN Automation specifications where they negotiate how can we achieve that CAN-based devices have a certain degree of plug-and-play capability, that we can develop independent from each other, our devices, but at the end we can meet in the very same project on the very same CAN line, and the devices can be integrated to one system, one proper working control system without big configuration effort. So this is also one objective of CAN Automation, to assist the CAN users in this sense, and we have there already a lot of CAN Automation specifications available, some of them also submitted already to international standardization bodies to increase also the acceptance of CAN-based solutions on this side. Furthermore, we accompany the development of future solutions, CAN-based solutions here at CAN Automation. So for example, people from Bosch presented here at CAN Automation in a frame of the International CAN Conference, the next generation of CAN. So in 2012, this had been the CAN with flexible data rate. How can we achieve higher data throughput in CAN-based systems? And this is now that what is coming up in silicon, in CAN controllers. So if you have now microcontrollers with onboard CAN controllers, it has more and more the probability that you have their CAN FD on board. So this is also why we have such an event today, that it makes sense to consider CANopen FD to make use from these capabilities provided by CAN FD, also from the perspective of a higher layer protocol, of a CAN-based higher layer protocol. Furthermore, we developed here in a working group the CANopen FD specification. So we are the guys maintaining this. It's a specification CR 1301. So this is now the document according to protocol stack manufacturers implement their software to provide you with a software stack capable to run CAN FD controllers in an improved way. And we have here also a working group that is already working on the third generation of CAN, the CAN XL, CAN frames with extended data lengths up to 2K of data can they carry in one frame, but this is some future. For the moment in silicon, you can get classical CAN or CAN FD, And this is also the base for our day, where CANopen FD stacks are intended for. So briefly to our membership, we have up to now a more or less instant growth. So at the beginning of the year, we had about 703 member companies. And I always say this is also an indication that despite of the existence of several other communication techniques, and if you go to fairs, probably in November on the SBS, nobody talks about field buses, maybe about some Ethernet solutions and whatever. But nevertheless, a lot of people say, well, being CAN automation member, it's of high interest because the CAN solution is still of high interest for us. It's the best candidate for our applications. And therefore, it makes sense being part of the social network provided by CAN automation, having all these contacts, CAN taking a shortcut in case of some challenges. And so you see, it's a good indication that CAN is still a very good candidate for embedded networks in a lot of applications. Here you see a brief overview about our existing working groups, and you see here the overview about the technical working groups, where we have our technical committee, a steering committee that determines in which technical areas, in which application fields we should do some technical work. And we have here, as I've already said, our technical director with us, Mr. Uwe Koppe, chairs the technical committee. And in addition to this technical committee, we have several interest groups caring about the CANopen protocol, the CANopen FD protocol, where we have today our chairperson, Mr. Alexander Philipp, with us. And we have a very new group, also chaired by Mr. Uwe Koppe, the high availability group, a very new group dealing about redundancy concepts. We also deal with another flavor of CAN-based networking, the J9039. And we have another group that is dealing with lower layer issues, accompanying the development of next CAN generations, such as CAN-FD Lite or CAN-XL. So this group chaired by our managing director, Mr. Holger Saltwanger. So furthermore, we see here an IG profiles. The IG profiles takes care, how do we like to use CANopen in certain application fields. So we have a lot of CANopen device and application profiles, and now these IG profiles is trying to rewrite these documents in a certain way that we have it in a generic part, the basic functionality, the device functionality, and in some communication technique specific parts. These groups are defining how can we map the generic device functionality to certain communication techniques. So you see here an overview, and because of lack of time, I'm rushing here a bit through these slides. In addition to the technical working groups, we have also our marketing groups doing some marketing for CANopen, CANopen FD, CAN-based networking in certain application fields. They determine on which fairs should we go, where should we provide information, why is it reasonable to opt for a CAN-based solution. So the entire activities of our marketing groups are controlled via another steering committee. It's the business committee, which is chaired by Christian Schlegel from Christian Schlegel Consulting, former managing director of ICSAT. So here's and his team, he is determining where is CAN in automation going to which fair, to which conference, and where we are promoting CAN-based solutions. Here you see a small summarization about what we are doing, that we are taking care about the specifications, trying to improve the interoperability of CAN-based solutions, reducing the configurational effort for devices when you have to integrate them to one proper working CANopen control system. And then on the other hand, one hand, we are doing some marketing for CAN-based solutions. On the other hand, we provide also technical services to assist people in understanding what we have specified, in assisting people in understanding how CANopen, J9039, and these things, how do they work. We have also kind of platform where CAN users, experts can meet, can discuss latest challenges in their project. This is the so-called International CAN Conference. we have had the 17th edition, unfortunately, only as an online event. The good news from this is that we have recorded all the presentations, so I will point this out also during my talk now, that we have recorded all the presentations, so they are still available, and you can have access to these presentations, to the proceedings. So we have saved all the information, and it's still valuable information for you here at Canon Automation. So if you want to have this access to, then just email us and we can provide you. And finally, of course, one of the major benefits of being Canon Automation member is that you have access to our working groups, access to all the documents, access to the documents in all development stages, and furthermore, that you can take part in the working groups, get contact to all the experts working there. And this means, as I've already emphasized, you can be a part of the social network provided by Canon Automation. And this can be not to underestimate it in your projects, that if you have some challenges, you can call these contacts and they have typically the ability to assist you so that you can accelerate in your project.